if you're in my main trading room and you want to look at some of the charts that, of course, we'll be going over together, I will bring up a YouTube chat room and you guys can go there. Give me a moment to pull that up. All right, down below should be the chat. It is. All right, ready to go. All right, Dan Tipton is first. And I should probably control plus that a little bit. Everyone can see the writing. All right, so just setting up, kids. I'll give me a couple of moments. We'll wait around until the rest of the traders move over from my trading room into the YouTube chat room or back and forth, or however you guys want to view this. And then we'll go over some charts. Good day, Tom. Ano, hello. Obviously, you guys getting volume, right? Because well, let me just check my own, just to be sure. Yep, I can hear the volume. All right. So the markets today, strong turnaround, right? Interesting takeoff through resistance, which, you know, I'd rather see us go up than down. And that certainly can't hurt anyone's 401k. Can't hurt anyone at all, right? Unless you short the market, of course. Let's not discuss that. We won't talk about that position today. Kidding, we will, of course. Let's see, people are filing in. Give me a few more moments if you don't mind, OMNIX, and we'll kind of get into this. So finally Friday. Happy Friday to all you cats. I know it's been a long week. Certainly has been for me. Markets have been all over the map. We're getting these massive bars down and then massive bars up and then massive bars down and then woo. For day trading, that makes for some interesting times. All right. I'm assuming some of you guys are settled in. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you, OMNIX, for coming to see this live stream today. Last night I did a video, and in that video we went over a few charts and, of course, decided what we would use that analysis to do today in the markets. The analysis told us to start with a short trade, obey the Omni arrow pointing down, start off selling. So we did go short. We had our first trade this morning, whopping 25-point winner in the S&P. Yeah. And we went short again a second time. That didn't go as well as the first short did. In fact, that went really bad. So we had a good winning trade this morning. We double dipped. I'm the one in control of this, so I double dipped. You guys followed me. My apologies there. The second trade didn't win. It actually lost. Phone is going crazy. Stop calling me. I'm streaming. Leave me be. So today's winning trade was right on the money. Omni said get in here, get out there. It was like clockwork. We got in, got out. But then greed took over. So the OMNIX who know me know that following me in my trading, about 6 weeks ago we ran into an issue where if we took an Omni trade and it worked, take it a second time, lots of times it works again. Thank you, Omni. Well, we ran into a situation where we take an Omni trade. If it works, we go to take the second one, and it blows up, takes out our stop, and basically wipes out the first winning trade. So about 6 weeks ago, I said, you know what, OMNIX? I am removing double dipping, taking the trade twice, out of our routine. And I'll tell you what, very good, right? We've had some pretty good last couple of weeks trading. You know, trading's trading, but not double dipping has kept us winning on winning days, and that's been that. Well, today I decided it would be a good idea to double dip. So we took the first trade and it won. And then, of course, you know, my cockamamie brain, harebrained scheme thought, all right, Oscar, you know, the last 6 weeks you said you wouldn't do this, but today looks like you can. And of course, as soon as I threw that in, the moment I thought, and wasn't staring at the chart or reading my rules, the trade went against us. So as it turns out, I took a great winning day and gave it back by taking the trade twice. And I think we're still up for the week, right? We're certainly up for the month. We're up for the week. But we would have been up much stronger had I just taken that first trade this morning and not double dipped. So remember, you heard me say this because 6 weeks ago I said it and stuck to it. But then I tried it today and it didn't work. No, I will not put us into a second trade. I will not double dip for the next 2 months, okay? Now we'll go out 8 weeks and see what happens. So for the next 2 months, I promise, OMNIacs, when you're following my trades, when we win, we trade once that day. Today was a pretty good-sized winner to have given it back. Today's date. All right, so it's call it the end of October. Till the end of the year, I'm not allowed to double dip. You guys are my witnesses, right? So now I'm held to a standard because I said it in front of a lot of people. So you know, if I break that code, you will know. You got it, Joe. No double dipping. The trades have been really, really good. My account goes up. Or the OMNIacs accounts go up if they're paying attention, taking all the trades, not interfering. You know what I'm saying? If you're just taking the Omni trades as they get belted out, your account should be going up. The Omni's been doing well. But when we double dip, it just doesn't seem to work lately. It's worked for years and years. From time to time, it doesn't, and you have to back off on the double dipping. When you get back into some kind of a groove where we're in a trending market, double dipping tends to work probably better in a trending market than in this flipping around type market. I'm assuming that's why the double dipping doesn't work anymore. So anyway, yes, Joe, we'll just stay out of that and take our money and not be greedy, because greed kills. It's a rule right on my wall, and today was greedy, and so you get what you deserve when you become greedy and break a rule. Today I got what I deserved. Now for me, I promise, I kid you not, I'm not even out of the second trade. I put in a rather large stop. So when it does get hit, it's going to be such a slap in the face. I promise I won't break that rule again for a long time. And if I get blessed and get out of this trade without getting hurt so badly, on the second trade today, of course, I probably won't be double dipping again for the next 2 months anyway. It's not going to change my position on that. So if I can get out of this alive, we still won't be double dipping for a while, kids. I don't know how many of you might still be short if you were crazy enough to put a stop in as big as I did, but I kind of give it breathing room, and what will be, will be. Anyhow, let's go look at some damage there in the background. So, boom, there should be a chart sitting back here somewhere. Yes, there is. All right. So, last night's chart, let's remove today's bar, right? We don't need it yet. So, in last night's video, we went over some analysis, and that analysis basically showed that something dramatic takes place at this average whenever you hit it. Something dramatic. Boom. Here you hit it. Dramatic drop. Here you hit it. Failure. Here you hit it. Dramatic failure. Right? Something dramatic seems to happen straight up after that. Then you broke it. Down. Failed again. Massive drop. Got to it. That's as of Thursday night's analysis. So what happens on Thursday is the market gets to it, literally goes right up to the red line, gets a little above it, it's a little above the average, turns around and settles back at the low. That usually indicates a failure, and the market will drop further the next day. It's not always, but that's usually what it will indicate. So here we are back at that chart again. And we got back to the average, as I mentioned, as of yesterday. And, of course, this channel. We got to the height or the high end of the channel. And the average. So, and the Omni went red. So these are three things that make me say, well, how do you not sell that? And then, of course, we looked at the S&P chart yesterday, and this bar did not exist. And what happened here is, of course, if you look at the repeated failure at this line, it hit, dropped, showed us that it wants to go lower. Let's put that back up there. And then that was up till Wednesday's trading. And then, excuse me, that was up till Thursday afternoon's trading. And then Friday happens. And boom, it goes up and gets above this line here. How sick is that? And that was pretty strong. So when we got short and it dropped and we got out. And then we got short again and it went up instead. So that's why we don't double dip, and we won't anymore. However, that failure right there looked epic, didn't it? And instead, the market gained legs all day today. And we take this one day at a time. It is what it is. So it got above, at least for this portion of the day, right? The day's not over, and the settlement can end up back down below. But for now, we are above that resistance that seems to have been very strong every time it's been seen. Let's see what happens there. And then I think we also looked at the dollar. Now, being that the dollar is a weekly, we're not sure where it settles until the end of today, which is Friday. But so far, the dollar has been holding. And the dollar's been green, right? Dollar's had an up day on the daily. I think we may have a daily dollar chart here somewhere. What is this chart for? Let's see if the daily works here as well. All right, so yes, we have been going up. All right, so these are, we looked at these. I don't know if we looked at anything else in the video last night. I just wanted to go back and take a look at these charts again. And remember, we talked about if the dollar holds, really good for the United States, because we don't need inflation to hit us the way it would with that dollar cracking when you go back out to the weekly. So far, we've got a hold taking place. Let's hope that stays, because a dollar dropping would make everything that we do get more expensive here in the United States and probably everywhere else in the world. We don't need that dollar to drop. And anything else in this list? Nope, I think those are the 4 charts we looked at in the video. So now I can open it up to see what you guys would like to talk about. So let me bring back the trading room and the YouTube chat room and see what you guys have been discussing here. That would be it for me. Yes, make sure I'm not working anything. I'm clean. All right, so that second trade, the double dip, they just finally knocked me out of it. My stop's been hit. All right. So, barring that double dip, we had good week trading, right, kids? We'll just keep the double dipping out, as I mentioned. We'll have a great week next week, too. So now, S&P, as we just looked at, getting above. Nasdaq must look smart, too. Let me just go look at that myself. What's the Nasdaq doing? That should be... I've got a Nasdaq chart here somewhere. Let's see if it's this one. That would be, let's go to a daily. Yes, we have a Nasdaq chart here. So, that was different, huh? It sure did change things. So after the bull flag, all right, let's follow what happened here. Let's leave this where it belongs. That was where it was. I meant to grab this. So look, after the bull flag, the market went up, came back and tested this major channel or resistance, which has now become support. Actually held it because it settled above. The next day, tried it one more time, and boom, did we explode. So what happened is we built a flag, We got out of the flag, made the flag projection, whatever that projection would have been. Obviously, it made it. Came back down to test support, held support, and went up. That's about as positive for our day trading signal as you could possibly want to get for trading on Monday. We'll see where it closes, right? Hopefully it'll close up here. But that sort of action certainly makes us want to be buying this on Monday, not selling it. But you see, we've had a lot of up and down here. I mean, there's just been a lot of open, drop, settle lower, then open lower, or open higher, settle lower, open here, rally all the way up, come back down, settle almost unchanged. It's just been all over the place lately, right? A lot of volatility. So each day represents or presents us with a whole new set of circumstances where there is opportunity. And we found a lot of good opportunity this month so far, and we will next week as well. However, with huge opportunity and huge volatility, the stops have to be really large as well, kids. There's nothing you can do about that. You can't put a little stop in on a big bar. See how these bars are getting big? These bars are little, right? These bars aren't all that big. The bars are starting to get dramatic. You cannot put in small stops or even usual stops on these dramatic bar days or weeks that we have, because it's almost like as soon as you put it in, it'll get hit whether you're right or wrong. And then the market will continue on without you. So be careful in here, kids. If you're going to trade during this insane volatility, you have to be able to afford wide stops or sidestep or go to the micro markets if necessary, so that you still have money to trade with the next day. If you know what I'm saying, these things go crazy now. So there was a day where if I traded 1, 2, 5, whatever, S&P, Nasdaq, Russell, you expected, all right, so let's go to a 2-lot type trade. On 2 lots, you expected a $1,500, sometimes $1,700 play in any market that you were in. More so in Nasdaq, a little less in Russell. But 2 lots, any day, you might win or lose somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000, let's call it, right? That would be about it. And that's if the moves were dramatic. What's happening today is on 1 lot, you see $2,500, $3,000 movement on a 1 lot position today. So the volatility has really gotten larger, and it's very expensive to be wrong. When you're right, yeah, it's good, but when you're wrong, it's so much more than when you're right. You see what happens, right? The wrong is just bad because the volatility is so large right now. So if you have to go down to the micros, or make sure you put your stops. If you're well-heeled, use really big stops, okay? Don't just give the money away. And we did have something in here. Let's see. All right. So you remember yesterday, another thing that we talked about, if I showed you this whole area, this chunky area, that if you get above that, remember I said if I could fill it in black, I would, but I can't fill it in, so I'll just put a bunch of these rectangles in there. So that whole chunky area, look what just happened in Apple. Oof. How about that, huh? Let me do not disturb on these phones. So let me move this just a little bit so we can see today's bar. Check that out. Look at today's bar. That's pretty big for Apple. That's a huge bar. So it got through this whole, well, if it settles up here, right? Settlement meaning the close. So what will happen is at the end of this day, there'll be a dash to the right on this bar. And that, of course, represents the closing price. As long as that close is above this black area, you've made it above that big resistance shelf. That's pretty good. Nice, strong move for a big component of our stock market. Let me think, did any other stock really stand out? Well, we saw what happened to Facebook. I mean, there's really nothing to look at there. And Tesla turned around too, didn't it? Nope, still inside that flag. Got nothing to say to Tesla till you get out of this flag. That's what we discussed yesterday. Unless we get out of here, we have nothing to say. It'll just gyrate inside this flag. Once we get out, we'll reanalyze and see what's going on. What will it take to remove do not fall in love with the upside from my whiteboard? I don't know if I have an exact spot. It's more going to be based on market behavior. You know what I'm saying? When the market starts behaving like a bull market over a bear market, and honestly, these last couple of moves, it's been acting more. Of course, the market's going up, right? So, but the behavior in this market starting to move up is acting more bullish lately than a bull leg in a bear market. It's starting to act like a bull market a little bit. I mean, look at today's action. There's been very little pullback, and the rallies back up are dramatic. That's usually when you're seeing some real strength, right? Otherwise, you get those pop-ups, it hits a high, turns around, and spends the day going down. This has been, boom, up, break the ceiling, up, break the ceiling, up, break the ceiling, up, break the ceiling. That's a strong day. So a little bit different since the bottom has come in. I think it's starting to gain, I wouldn't call it respect, but it's starting to gain confidence. I think the street is starting to gain confidence. So if that's the case, is what it is. Did I buy a new iPhone, Jim? No, wasn't me, baby. Fred F mentions Meta, Kramer said, I know. You know, I think he was famous for calling Bear Stearns, too, like 2 nights before the collapse. You know, Kramer does his thing. I do believe there's some advertising stuff that happens with Kramer where he gets paid for certain things, so you never know if there was some pay to speak about the company and not knowing that this was going to happen. Whatever. I don't know anything about that. I do know that he seemed pretty sad that he gave people that advice. Speaking of talking about Fred F mentioned Kramer and Meta. And Gopal, have I seen the monthly bar? Yeah, the monthly bar is out of control. On the Dow you're talking about, right? That was 7. Well, let's look at the monthly on the transports as well. Let's look at the Dow. Monthly. What a reverse. One down, one right back up, huh? That's Dow. Monthly, but, you know, we're not fund managers. The monthly ain't going to do us any good. Interesting happenings right here. That's interesting. All right, let's go back to where we were. This was the DJTY. Was that a continuous chart? I'm just trying to rebuild that chart that we had. There it was, yeah. Da, 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 da. All right, so if you're a fund manager, that monthly it means a lot. But I'll tell you what, as we've been talking about all along, if this holds, Wall Street's going to go crazy, as they do every time. So each time the market has a crash and comes down to the 200 bar on the weekly, Wall Street seems to love it. This time, while they were raising rates, I couldn't imagine if they're raising rates, why on earth would it hold? They were lowering rates here or not doing anything if not lowering rates here, but they certainly were not raising. They were not raising. Here they're raising rates, which should have driven this through. This test, while they're raising rates, should have driven us through the 200. It hasn't yet. Doesn't mean it won't, but it hasn't yet. So don't forget what's happening here is, you know, this is a weekly. This takes a long time for things to develop. But you do have a channel here, some form of And I don't know if it would be parallel, so we can probably get rid of this and call it resistance instead. So you have resistance here. And it would take a lot of movement just to get back to that resistance, where generally on this weekly it fails anyway. So we're not completely out of the woods by any means, and maybe this would make me change my mind and have me take do not fall in love with the upside off the board, right? If we get above this, maybe. I don't know. We'll see how the market acts when it gets there. But don't forget, you've got that going on right now. And resistance is resistance. We don't just see it. It gets programmed into algorithms on Wall Street. So they know it's there too. Let's see what happens if, and when we get there. One day at a time. That's a weekly chart, kids. Take a long time to get us up there. All right, let's see what else there is for YouTube. Patrick Flanagan must wait for the SPX 4000 test. Yeah, no doubt, Patrick. It's got to go all the way up there. Well, yeah, Scott, in 2005-07, they were trying to stop the market, if you remember, because it was going crazy. We went up from 2002 to 2007 almost straight up. That's the Scott Mooring. So he says they raised rates in 2005 through 7 time frame, and the market still went up. They were raising rates because the markets, like they were doing when they raised rates here, were just going crazy. And then they finally raised rates, and 2008 happened. Here, the markets were going crazy. They finally raised rates, and 2022 happened. However, we're not in a mortgage crisis this time around, so it's not going to break anything. It's not going to break the real estate market. It's not going to break funds. You know what I mean? It's just trading. They're not over leveraged in bad real estate loans. Yeah, this S&P keeps going. It's like the Energizer Bunny. So, yep, sorry to say, kids, I navigated you through great trades all week, including today, till I broke that rule of no double dipping. And it's the only bad navigation we did all week. So next week, expect more of the same, kids. Good navigation. But it's Friday, and I got to tell you, I've had such a long week. I spend almost all my nights up, staying awake so that my omniacs who need to sleep get to sleep. You know what I mean? You guys need your sleep. So a lot of you got things going on. You can't possibly stay up as many hours as I do. You guys need your sleep. So what I do is I'm the guy on the lookout tower, making sure that I'm standing there, walking in a circle around that lookout tower, making sure you guys sleeping below me are safe. And when the markets move, you hear from me. I send you those flash updates. So that entails me staying up a lot of hours during the week while you guys get your rest, guys, gals, traders, I should say. But by Friday, you know, it gets, I start getting like, okay, it's Friday. So I think I'm going to end this stream and then kind of coast for the rest of the day. Check in with you guys every now and then. I actually have people outside measuring windows right now. I'm just not out there with them. I trust that they know how to measure. And we'll pick this up Sunday night where we left off. Jerry Lee Lewis died. Oh, sorry to hear that, Dano. I'd play some, but it'll get me copyrighted. Jerry, thanks for all the great music. And if you were alive in today's day and age, you would have been arrested and put in jail. But thank you for your music. $39.11. Wow. Crazy rally. So how high? We went from 37.76 this morning to 39.11. So far. So far. We still have, what, 2.5 hours to go before this day ends? Oh, what, it's going on 3. We got 2 hours to go, 2 hours and 8 minutes. Psychotic. All right, so let's look. One last quick. Let me just take a look at the what I call go around the horn. Let me just look at all the markets. Bonds behaving slightly. Gold sure did do its job. Gold. One last thing we'll look at. Check out this gold chart. This was my alternate trade today. If we didn't get filled in S&P, we were going to take this gold trade. Fantastic trade. And we didn't get it. Is that it right there? That's it right there. Look at this thing. Look at this setup. And forget these lines. It was about the average. Look what happened at the average. So today, my trade was to get us short at 1670. But it was called an alternate trade if you don't get filled in S&P. So we did get filled in S&P. We didn't take the alternate trade, but it was absolutely positively right on the money. Gold had a nice little drop today. So had we not gotten filled in S&P, kids, we would have been short gold today. I didn't want to put us in all of that because the S&P was going nuts. And I thought we were going to have a great day. I was fully expecting to have a fantastic day when we got short S&P. So yeah, I wanted to show you that gold chart because that's on its way down now. So we'll be taking some short trades in gold next week, I assure you. I'm hoping OMNI agrees, otherwise I can't do it. But as long as OMNI agrees, we'll be going short gold next week. Let me make that blue so I remember what's going on here for next week. And then anything else going on in that YouTube chat room? Oh, Dan, are you kidding me? If we didn't have stops in today? Woohoo! If there were no stops in today, you would have lost about as much as I did because my stop was in at 39.06. It might as well have not even been in at all. In any event, that's trading, kids. Next week, we'll beat the markets up again like we did this month. All right, so hey, happy Friday. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I appreciate everything you guys do for me. Thank you for subscribing and staying around me. And, you know, I can't thank you enough. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you guys have a great weekend, and I'll pick this up on Sunday evening.